welcome back to DCI Motorsports. Hopefully you guys can hear me. As you can see, we're on the dyno tonight, and my dad doesn't have his mic on him yet, but he doesn't know we're live yet either. But we're warming up the car, we're going to start tuning, and we're having some issues with the dyno tonight, so my dad's going to have to do some math, so we're going to see some of that. And so making sure everything is good right now before we get going too far. Hello, Mom. And so yeah, just to recap, we're going to be live on the dyno tonight. We're going to start tuning. This is going to be part 2, and we're going to tune this car. And again, the dyno is having a little bit of technical difficulties right now, so my dad's going to do some math so we can get to make fun for that. And yeah, so
are we live?
Yep, we're live.
All right, welcome guys. Yeah, we're screwing with this dyno. I tell you what, this dyno's been a pain in my butt. That's why I don't trust it for putting a customer car on it. I don't know if it's accurate, and until I know it's accurate, I am not going to put a customer car on it. I mean, we have, and it seemed like it was working okay, but it's hit or miss. You know, like right now we just made a pass. Last week, you guys seen it. We did a
2 weeks ago.
Well, yeah, 2 weeks ago now, and you know, we did a hit, and it made 400. Is consistently right around 406, and now it's making
338.
338, and we haven't touched it. I mean, I don't get it. So how can you lose 40 horsepower, 60 horsepower, whatever it is, and we didn't touch anything? One thing we did do, and I got Luke changing it right now. You can see him working on the carburetor. I thought the float level was a little bit too low in the back, so I adjusted it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it back down to where it was, and then we're going to run it again and see if that brings the numbers back. If it don't, then something's wrong with the software in this computer, and I don't know what it is. And you can't get any technical help. It's just crazy. You know what? We better turn that radio off or we get flagged.
Yep. So as we're getting that prepped, I'm going to say hello to the people that are saying hi so far. So we got Joe. Hey, Joe. Hey, Dwayne. Hey, Bill. And hey, Ed. Johnson CNC Designs. Of course, my wife, she's over in the other room. And so, yeah. Again, we're going to, hopefully, this time, we won't blow a head port with the water jacket. And we'll get to tune this thing and you know, play around with it, and hopefully we get the dyno working right too.
It is fun. He told you, I heard, that you don't hit the brakes, just let it coast back down.
Be able to play with the dyno.
Then you can hit the brake.
We'll have to just figure it out. Unfortunately, we may or may not know.
Let's try a hit from like that time you were like 2,900.
25.
Well, according to that.
So yeah, Joe, the weather station was working before, and now it's not.
All right. Well, what was the other runs at, and where was peak torque?
Found the issue, I do believe, yesterday. That it reads, but it's not reading correctly. So right now it's saying that it's like 37 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's probably where the converter's stalling to.
It is not. It is
about 4,000, 4,200.
But I would say it's probably 69, 70 degrees out right now.
All right, so you adjusted that down, and then, all right, well, let's make a test hit, and let's see where we're at.
Hey, John Dornbush. Hey, hello, John. Hello, old school.
All right, no more water.
Yes, Paul.
I gotta say, maybe it needs a burn water. You know, maybe there's some power there.
Hello, BNR.
All right, so we're going to try this again real quick just to see what's going on. We adjusted the float level down, down where it was before. So we'll see if the numbers come back. If they do, then that's what it was.
hopefully we're not blowing anybody's eardrums out. If we are, I apologize.
Yeah, it made a little more. Huh? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure this thing is reading right.
You got jump going in and jump coming out.
Yeah. So, as long as it's consistent, if it hangs around there and we make some changes, then we know that we're doing the right thing. Yep. Even though it doesn't give us the number that we had a couple weeks ago. So, what I think we should do is let's shut it off, let it cool off for a minute, and let's put the timing light on that thing. I don't know where your timing light's at, Brandon. And I want to see where it's at, confirm it's at 36, and if it is, let's bump it up because on that strap it looks like it needs a little more timing, so let's bump it to 38. Okay. 38? Yep. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the timing on this and make sure that it's where we set it a couple weeks ago. And if it is, then we're going to bump it up a couple degrees. And because on that, like I was showing you guys on the spark plug strap, the ground strap, it was looking like it needs a little more timing. So
John Dornbush says just double your numbers and call it good.
Well, it is what it is. It's frustrating because this is what we're dealing with this dyno, and it's the software. It's not the dyno itself. It's the software.
B&R Racing said a lot more power is there than any LSX swap from a junkyard.
A lot more expensive power too.
Well, right now our barometer and temperature is saying it's minus 36 degrees. Is that
I thought
right?
I just said just regular 36.
Oh, okay, 35.6 degrees. But our barometer's at 0.3.
Yeah.
So there's no way that number can be accurate that we're getting right now. There's no way. Now, if I do the math, and I did the math manually, because we hit this thing, what was it, Wednesday night, or this is Wednesday night. Monday night, I think we dynoed it and we tested it. Anyway, I did the math manually, and it came up to 406, and that's where we were 2 weeks ago. So I think I need to get a weather station. This thing took a shit on me, and it's not giving us the right numbers. But 36 degrees is going to take power away when it corrects it. And obviously, at 0.3 barometer, it is definitely going to take power away. So I'm guessing that the thing's making at sea level somewhere right around maybe 380 horsepower. Real horsepower. That's what it is if you don't correct it. And with correction, it's like 406 right now because we got such a low temperature and low barometer. I believe that we're probably, it's taken away, roughly 25 horsepower, or 20 horsepower. So that's where we're at right now. Until I get this software figured out, I might have to buy a different software. And unfortunately, this software, it's freaking ridiculous. I mean, you know what? These people it's highway robbery. All you got to do is push a button, you can duplicate it on a disk. It don't take nothing to do that. And they charge you 10, 11 grand for software for these things. And so I don't know if Dave Buckshaw's watching tonight or not, but I know that he plays with a lot of this kind of stuff. And he made a comment, yeah, Dynocom, I can't help you. Well, it's not the dyno's fault. The dyno's okay. I got an eddy brake. We got a dyno. The sensors are all working on the dyno. We confirmed all that. We calibrated it. It's calibrated properly. It's all right there in that damn computer is where it's at. I need a good software program.
Bill says, Paul, glad to see you. It's been a long time. So, oh, I thought he was staying right there.
Nope, he's coming back.
Old School Twist said, one of you guys could at least have a cigarette in your mouth, a pack rolled up in your sleeve, but you do have the beer cars are running in a garage environment.
Yep.
And then Joe said, do you want him to bring his back down to Dyno Compare?
Oh, you know what, Judes, I appreciate it, buddy. I just I don't think I want you to waste the trip because I think that we got a software issue, and so you know, Judes, that I have the Dyno what is that called? Land and Sea, Dyno software. I'm going to see if I can load that on the computer and use that to run this dyno. I think I can. And maybe Joe knows. I don't know.
Oh, BNR Racing says he has a Pontiac V8 oil pan question tonight for Don. His 1970 and a half Trans Am Ram Air 4-speed, or Ram Air 5 4-speed, has been researching and wanting to buy soon. So I think he's going to be asking
What's
now
he
that
ask?
I brought it up. He hasn't really asked yet.
Oh, okay.
But it's for his 1970 Trans Am.
And it's a Ram Air 5 car? Because that obviously has to be
Oh,
dealer.
Ram Air 4, I'm sorry. I didn't,
Okay.
there's something on the screen I didn't see no eye.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so as soon as it does set the timing, we'll get into that. But if it's a Ram Air, a real Ram Air 470 TA, holy shit. Where are we at? 34. 34? Let's go to 36 then.
Right there's the wrench.
Right here, Luke. Well, he got it out and laid it there. I mean, he was preparing. He was ready.
John Dornbush says no way the barometer should read.
Yep.
It should
Let's
read
do
around
36.
28 to 29.
All right, so Philip the Third. I haven't dug through my T-shirts yet. As a matter of fact, I might get my daughter-in-law to get my T-shirt box out and see if she can find you a large. I think. Hey, Jamie, could you do me a favor and get the T-shirt box and see if you can find a large black T-shirt? Or any large. Just let me know. If it's pink, he said he won't wear it.
I haven't seen him on yet.
Phil?
Yeah,
Real?
I know.
Huh.
He must be sick.
Yeah, something's wrong with him. He must have forgot.
Maybe not have accidentally put it directly at 38. Something's bumping it down now.
Okay. All right, so a real quick lesson here, guys. So what we do, we never use initial timing to set our timing. We always set our timing total. And you have to have an adjustable timing light to do that. And so when you do that, you got to bring the RPMs up to where the maximum amount of mechanical advances on the distributor to do it that way. And the reason we do it that way is because if you try to go by initial advance, like say a factory setting, it says 8 degrees. Well, when we check our initial after we do this, our initial time is typically 18 to 20 degrees. So if you set it back down to 8, you're going to be way retarded. What's that?
Will my dad's car benefit from having a lockout distributor?
Well,
We have a separate initial switch.
you could do that, but the only thing is, man, it'd make it hard to start, especially when it gets hot.
Well, I have a separate initial switch. Start cranking and flipping.
It's best to have mechanical advance.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yep.
And even though right now it acts like, and you hear it slowly cranking over. Are you ready to run again?
Yeah, you bump it up 2 degrees?
Yep, that's 36.
Okie dokie. So now, guys, what we're going to do, because our numbers are not what they were 2 weeks ago, what was our best run? 348?
360.
Yeah, tonight.
Oh, mine's about 346.
346. All right. So with that 2 degrees timing, we'll see if it goes up or goes down. I know the number isn't what it was 2 weeks ago. It is what it is, but hopefully it's going to show us if this thing's picking up power by advancing the timing.
And if not, we'll check the spark plug.
We can look at a plug again, look at a ground strap, see where it's at, see if it moved or not. It should have moved. right, so what did it do? Go up, down?
Went down.
Yeah.
What'd the torque do?
Torque went down. Quite a
Well,
bit.
all right, well then let's go down to 32 degrees. See where we're at. Yep.
Can you give me
Hey
a beer?
Phil, I got your t-shirt. I know you're not watching tonight, but I got you a large. So I'm gonna ship that to you. Thank you all.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Oh, thank you. So,
All right, bump the timing down a couple
Ed
degrees.
Page
We'll run it
said,
again.
to give Lenny C a call. He thinks his dyno is older and is running Land & C engine dyno.
I've got Land & C. I have Land & C software. I bought it for my engine dyno. I haven't used it yet. It's brand new software. And I paid $11,000 for that software. So I'm hoping, I heard Land & C went out of business. I don't know, maybe Jude's knows. But anyway, I'm hoping that I can load that on my computer here and run my chassis dyno, because the only thing I'm not sure about is I've got a brake on my chassis dyno, but it's magnetic. It's got a big coil on it. You know, it's like a big brake rotor with electric coils all the way around it. So I'm hoping it'll run that.
So we going up with timing more?
No, we're going down.
Going back down?
Yep. We're gonna go down 2 degrees now and see what it does.
Even though, so the spark plug read that it needed more,
Yep, it showed more,
but the engine didn't like it.
But the other part of that equation is it looked lean. So it may be that we're too lean and we need to put a little more jet in it. This is the fun part, guys. I love the tuning part. This is where I learned so much. I didn't have a dyno, so I had to go to the track every week. And I would change cams, and then I would advance it, retard it. I'd play with jetting at the track and play with timing at the track. I mean, it was a lot of manual labor, and I went to the racetrack 3-4 times a week to learn what I know. And I did that when I was like 20 years old.
You said, Joe, is it Jude, you said?
Jude's, yeah.
He said Land C no longer supports your guys' dynos.
Oh, really? So that software I have is worthless?
Well, if it's for your engine dyno, then no.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Jude's knows. Somebody just...
Old school twist.
To verify timing, and make it real quick, get the warmed up.
Well, okay, we can let it cool off. We need to change jets next anyway.
Okay, well, timing's at 32 now, so let's run it, see where we're at.
Yep.
Go from there.
Perfect.
So we went down with timing. We haven't ran it yet. I think they're double checking the timing right now. We're gonna run it with the lower timing and then...
Yeah, 32 instead of 34.
Okay. So we went up to 36. The car didn't like it. So we're going back. Now we're going to go the opposite way. We're going to go down 32.
Now remember, guys, this is a 434 cubic inch engine. It's got a 4-inch stroke with a 4151 bore size. So its stroke has a big bearing on timing. And typically, the longer the stroke, the less timing you need. And like 455s, we typically run those around 28 to 30 total.
didn't like that one. It boosted up
That made
from
a difference.
336 to a 354, so it liked the lower timing.
Where's our torque going?
Well, it could be because of the way we're hitting it. So I think we need to jet this thing. So what we're
I
going to do now
appreciate
is
it.
let's
I
pull
know
it
my
off
dad
a little bit.
appreciates it too.
Let's change the secondary jetting on
dude,
this thing a little bit. Let's go
we
up
can
2
use
jet
all the help
size
we can get.
and see if it makes any more power.
I can't get out here enough to
Oh, are we out of gas?
to really play around with the software and everything for the dyno, and so it's.
So
hard for
guys,
my
it
dad
liked
to
the
do
2
it.
degree. I'm sorry, son.
No,
Were
go.
you talking? Okay, so it did like the 2 degrees less timing, made more power. I picked up quite a bit. Where are we at here? So I really need
Which
to get
one
my
are you looking for?
the last run compared to the run we had right before this. I don't have my glasses on.
343
Okay.
and a 354.
All right, good. So with
Yep, it went
just
up.
2 degrees timing, it picked up 11 horsepower?
9.
9?
Yep.
Okay. So that shows you how important timing is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let this thing cool off a little bit. We got the fan on it, and we're going to jet it up a little bit on the secondaries.
So I noticed the torque went down. Is that
Yep.
because now it's pulling more horsepower?
No, it shouldn't have lost torque. It should actually have went up in torque, but it could be the difference between drivers, believe it or not. Because my brother Paul ran it this time and Luke ran it before. So it could be the way the driver hits the throttle.
I
or
can
there's-
tell you the driver's already made a mistake. Check his light, and the light comes on 6,300 instead of 6,500.
Okay,
I
so
just now checked my light.
so we're not shifting to 65? Okay,
This is when you yell at the driver.
okay.
This is when you yell at the driver.
My brother and I, you know what? We've got a lot of drag racing history, and I used to have a tube chassis car. My brother drove it for me, and it ran 8, so it was a quick car. And my poor brother, one time, we just got the car, and he's never been 8 seconds before. The fastest he ever went was 1020s. So I throw him in this tube chassis car, and it goes 880s. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, 160 mile an hour.
Yeah, 160 mile an hour. And I'm asking him questions like, okay, where was what RPM did you trap at? And what was your oil pressure? And what did you shift at? He's like, I don't know. He said, I was just hanging on for the ride. So,
Oh, yeah.
and you know what, in his
I don't know how to
defense,
send it
that
to you,
is
though.
pretty big jump.
When we're done,
Okay.
I can load it
So,
up. Yeah.
just secondaries. Yep. Yep. We're going to go 2 jet sizes bigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to
this
go
look better?
2 jet sizes bigger, huh?
Yes, that looks a lot better. doesn't it?
Yeah. All right.
I don't
Cool.
know. Are we at 35 inches, you think?
No, it's still screwed up, but you know what? At least it's
That's up closer.
yeah, it's getting closer. I don't know how much that affects it.
Because what happened was I went into devices here,
Yeah.
and you go to conditions, and it says use readings from atmospheric sensor.
Okay.
Well, that would be that.
Yep.
And
And
this is
apply
at
that?
1320 feet. Are we at 1320 feet?
Yep.
Okay.
We're at 1,320 feet. Barometer's probably like 29.6 or something right now.
And HG or KPA?
HG.
All right.
So it's showing a little bit. That's a lot of pressure. So,
Well, we'll try it on that and,
and
see.
it doesn't have any humidity either.
No, it doesn't.
And right now, I'd say we're
And I
probably
would say
60%.
your sensor's broke on that.
Yeah. So part of our sensor's starting to work. Part of the weather station's starting to
Yep.
work. It does show the temperature at least, but the barometer's still screwed up and the humidity's not there.
No, well, hopefully with it being higher though, we'll get closer to the real number than
Right.
Than yeah.
Is the temp off 10 degrees? Oh yeah, we're 67. It says 77. So it's still not reading right.
I'm trying to film the pack.
Oh, that'd be cool. Show the guys what we're doing there. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to have somebody come over there because I won't know if I'm got it in the right place or not.
We'll do it twice.
Might want to come back a little bit, brother. There you go.
Alright, at least I can see where I'm at.
Yep. So there's the tack on that last pull.
So he's showing you where we hit it and what we revved the engine to, and it looks like we're going to about 63,400 RPM.
I can tell you at $5,000 you start picking up the grip.
Oh yeah, you can hear it. It wants to be at high RPM, no doubt.
All right, so let me get caught up with your guys' old school twist. Says educated does have either door.
What I am actually
Oh.
thrilled about is we beat the piss out of this thing and there's no like smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, grab a mess of ranch.
Jude said he'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
He said the software is fine, but they won't support you.
Oh, okay, I got it. Well, you know what? Thank you, Judes. I know that he's got that software, and I think he runs that on his chassis dyno too, so he can get me squared away. What's that?
Extra shot for that.
I don't think so. I like alcohol, but not that alcohol.
And then old school twist wants to know: is the Challenger making the deadline?
We're getting close. You know what? Can you move that camera over there and show them? We are getting close. I mean, obviously our glass blew up the other day. I don't think you're gonna be able to see around the. Yeah.
We'll have to figure out a way I can go wireless
Okay.
one day.
Well, the whole back of the car is completed now. We're working on the front of the car, and then we're going to get the chrome trim around the gutters and stuff like that, so we can start getting the side glass adjusted. And then we're down to putting a dashboard in it and steering column, so we can move it around.
So it's getting closer.
Yep, I'd say tomorrow it's going to be pretty close. We still got to paint the mirrors, we got to paint the door handles and little stuff like that, but that don't take long to do.
So as we watch Luke work,
Yep.
get busy, boy.
So listen, guys, you know what? The little young man, or not little, but the young man working on the car right now, that's my nephew Luke. That's my brother's son, and he's 17 years old. And he's been hanging out here at the shop since he was 2 years old. So he probably knows more than most 40-year-olds.
Especially in Ohio.
Huh?
Especially in Ohio.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this kid is, I think I told you guys the potty training story.
Well, how old was he whenever he got the carburetor for Christmas?
Well,
3?
no, he didn't get that for Christmas. He got that to go to the potty. That's
No,
how
I
I got.
thought he got that for Christmas.
No, he wanted a shifter for Christmas.
Oh.
And he's got that shifter in his Trans Am. And he got that when he was like 7 or 8. That shifter. In your Trans Am.
Well, that one I got for my like 15th or 16th birthday. But you gave me like 2 other ones over the course of the year.
Oh, okay.
We tell the potty training story.
Well, we already did. But you know what? You can tell him again.
No, we're good. They know.
So yeah, you know what? Poor Luke. He's got this in his blood. It's not going to leave. He was all pissed off the other day. He just got his Trans Am running, and his mom finally went and got the license plates for him. He got a windshield in it because she wasn't going to let him drive it till he got a windshield because it was cracked. And so anyhow, he's got a 77 Trans Am that my son-in-law Andrew Jensen had purchased actually when he was probably about 17 years old actually. And so anyhow, that thing's been passed through the family. So what had happened was Andrew gave it to my son. My son said, you know what, Dad, I don't want this thing. I'm moving. He was getting a new house and he wanted to get it out of his yard. He said, you want this car? I said, yeah, I'll take it. Well, me and Luke went and picked that thing up. And I don't know, how old were you then? You were young.
14, 15.
I don't
I,
think
like,
you know.
barely
You
just
were
started. It was like 4 years ago.
How long you been in your new house?
I was going to say, it was about 3-4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago? Okay. So you were about 13, 14 maybe. And so anyhow, I seen Luke drooling all over this
No,
car.
I legit told you, like, we got it back here. I looked down, like, this is my car.
So anyhow, I pretty much gave the car to him, but I made him think he was working it off. So you know what? I wanted him to appreciate it. I wanted him to work for something that was a goal, you know, and he did good. The kid's done really, really well. So, but yeah, he ended up with the Trans Am, and I told him it was $500. I don't even remember how much it was, and he had to work it off. But reality, he was going to end up with the car no matter what. No, he built his own engine for this car.
Did you get the torque converter
it's got
fixed?
a 400.
Did
So
you?
what so yeah, I started to tell you guys what had happened was he bought a transmission torque converter from one of my customers, good customer of mine, and so anyhow, it's a turbo 350 and had a TCI, which by the way, don't use a TCI torque converter behind a Pontiac because they won't live.
Or
So-
Boss Hog.
So, or B&M. But anyhow, he's out test driving this thing after he finally waited for like a year to get his license plates and windshield, and that's a whole nother story. We went through like, what, 4 windshields before we got a good one, because UPS and FedEx can't ship a freaking windshield without breaking it. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So Luke finally gets his car done. And I don't blame him. You know what? He's taking everybody for a ride. He's taking his dad for a ride. He's taking his mom for a ride. He's taking his girlfriend for a ride. And about the 4th trip out, what happened? The converter ballooned on him. Yeah, so the converter ballooned on him, and he was pissed off. And I don't blame the kid. You know what I mean? So he's going around kicking shit and cussing at me and his dad and saying he's got to sell the car. And I said, good, I'll buy it from you. I sold it to you for $500. I'll buy it back for $500. Well, he didn't like that idea. I told him, you know what? Even if I bought it from him for $500, I'd give it back to him anyway. So.
That means I should have done that, 'cause I would make $500.
Yeah, right?
Hold on.
Yeah, dummy.
You don't make rash decisions when you're mad.
Yep.
Don't make emotional decisions.
That too.
What you're dealing with.
It's always bad, never ends good. So what are you guys playing with tonight? Anybody got anything that are
Well,
tuning
John
or?
Kennedy said, don't forget to put the Pontiac logo on that Challenger.
Well, you know what? I do have a DCI decal.
Yep.
One somewhere, then we can see it.
When you open the deck lid, you can see it on the bottom of the deck lid. That'd be perfect.
Yep.
I got another customer who runs Mopars, and he's doing a wheelie, and I put it on the oil pan. You can see it.
Oh, yeah. I know. His wife races too, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moose?
Rick Akey, we call him Moose. Yeah. Yep. And his wife's got a car too.
Larry O says he has a TCI in his Turbo 400. What is better option?
Get a TSI. Do not run TCI or B&M. Use a TSI, Transmission Specialties Incorporated. They're in Pennsylvania.
Check back at the end of summer, and we may recommend the summer one with the anti-balloon plate on it.
Yeah, my brother works at Summit Racing, and we're trying to find out, but Summit Racing sells a lot of stuff under their brand name. And Luke just bought, well, my brother bought him a torque converter, but he got his converter for his car, and we think it might be a TSI, and if it is, that's a damn good price on that thing. What do they sell for, like $650? Yep. Yeah.
What
So-
about Circle D Specialties?
No, don't run that converter.
Because a lot of those guys swear by them that have like my truck.
Yeah.
That's
nope.
what they go to.
Stay away from Boss Hog. You know what? I shouldn't mention names. The only one that I recommend is TSI.
Good idea. We're going down the rabbit hole. We're going down.
Yeah, I got lured into that. I'm sorry. No, you didn't. All right, guys, I hope this isn't too boring for you. I mean, you know what? This is part of tuning. It just takes time, and we have to change things. And once we get this thing, the jets changed in the carburetor, then we have to check to make sure there's no fuel leaks.
I gotta give props to my son. We're beating the dog piss out of this engine, and it sounds like it runs like a top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it actually sounds better this time than it did last time.
Well, Luke and my brother Paul put this engine together, and apparently Luke and Paul did a pretty good job.
I think
Good
last
job
time,
on my rings.
I think the last time that water
he thinks
was,
he's got a ring problem, and if he does, you know what? Tell the story, brother. What happened at the racetrack with the 75 formula?
75 Formula Firebird, and my buddy Walt and I, we knew the rings were bad, and it's literally the night before the Pontiac did. So we decided we're going to re-ring this son of a bitch, and we did.
Overnight.
With, I think we were using Comet soap to clean cylinders. I mean, we were just doing crazy stuff. On the way to Norwalk, if you go through the circle, there's a little bar that used to exist called the Crippled Pelican. So we saw the name, we had to stop there and have a drink at 8 o'clock in the morning. We drank a beer at 8 o'clock in the morning. We get to
On the way to the racetrack.
On the way to the racetrack. After being up all night.
Right.
In the car,
Now, granted, these guys were probably 20 years younger.
25 at least.
Right.
So we get to the track, and the car ran 12 O's before I touched it. And it was getting slower and slower, and that's when we checked cylinder pressure, realized the rings were good.
And we had a lot of blow-by.
We had a ton of blow-by.
Yep.
And so I decided, re-ring it. We get to the track. I'm running 1250s, 1260s. My brother's like, what the hell did you do to the car? I said, I don't know. 1250s again. Go out this last time, it went at 12-0. He goes, now what'd you do to the car? That's no damn thing different. The only we figure is the ring set.
After 4 passes, the ring's seated. So it goes to show you how bad the ring, if the rings are bad, how much horsepower you lose.
You lose, yep.
Yeah. So
That's a fun story. I like that one.
that was 40, 50 horsepower. I wish our buddy Walt was here tonight because you know what? He's been a big part of DCI. Now he's got a family and he's got a lot of things going on and besides racing. So he's doing the dad thing, which he should be doing. He's doing really, really well. Now my brother's doing the dad thing, but he's doing it with his son who loves cars, which is awesome.
Right. Free labor. At the same time, that's not good.
We love you.
Yeah, all right.
Tim is putting a Hughes, is it Hughes or Hudges? Hughes.
Hughes converters are pretty
Converters.
decent. I don't mind Hughes. Yep.
I want.
You want one with an anti-balloon plate for a Pontiac because if you don't have the anti-balloon plate, Pontiacs make so much torque. So much torque, what they do is so if you don't know what a ballooning converter does, what happens is the converter, looking at it from the side, it actually blow up. And that's why they call it ballooning. So whenever it separates like that, then all of a sudden the stator inside there is flopping around, the Torrington bearing goes bad, and then the converter goes bad. And then that shit goes all through your transmission. You got to rebuild your tranny. Fortunately for Luke, he brought it back, and the thing was slipping, and I heard the noise, and I told him, I said, don't drive it no more. You're done.
Immediately, I'm like, oh, this don't feel good. It felt like I had a 6500 stall converter.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah. So if your converter starts making noise and your stall's higher, then converter's bad. What do you think, guys? Did we check for fuel leaks?
Yep.
What's our engine temp?
160-ish, 165.
It'll come down when you start it.
All right, so you guys want to make a pass? No, I'm not. I'm just here for the ride. All I'm doing is I'm the commentator.
Let's make a pass. Tim said it was a balloon plate.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, if it's Tim Corsiak, he's going to need the best converter he can get because that engine we built for him is going to be a beast.
Oh, there you go, Tim.
All right, so we're going to fire this dude up, make another pass. Uh-oh.
Does not like that.
We might have to hook the battery charger up. What?
Froze up right at the moment.
Oh, well, get it fixed. Hey, Luke, grab the battery charger real quick, please, and let's hook it up to your dad's battery. I think it's getting weak from cranking it so much, and the fuel pump running. So what we got to do, this software is crap. It freezes up all the damn time, too.
Well, it went to sleep, and that's what makes it freeze up.
Yeah.
You need to turn the sleep off.
Well, we've tried that, and it doesn't work. So maybe my computer's screwed up. Maybe it ain't the software. Maybe it's just me. Uh-oh. I just seen a mouse run across the back there. And Mom's car's in that container out back. If them little
Great.
bastards are making a nest in her car, I'm going to be mad.
Yep. Shooting up your new convertible top. That'll make you
Yeah.
happy.
Oh, yeah. That'll really make me unhappy. And my new wiring harness we just put in
Yeah.
that car.
Dude, we did. You want to tell them a story on what we did for that thing just for a car show?
We put tinted glass in it. We put a cloth top on it. They call it a stay fast instead of the vinyl top. And we put new wiring harness in it.
Okay.
We put all new glass in the car. It's got smoked glass now. And it's got a Ram Air 5 engine. So maybe I'll put that on the dyno, see what it does. Yeah. I don't think our dyno's even close to being accurate. There's no way 2 jet sizes we lost 100 horsepower. We got something else going on. And you can, no, it ain't. You can tell by listening to the car, it ain't the car. There's something else going on. It's got to be the damn software. Unless your dad forgot to turn the fuel pump on, because he's good for that.
That was just on.
Yeah.
Has it got gas?
Yeah,
You better check.
I did.
Okay.
Had like third of a tank.
Gas.
A third of a tank. We made 5 passes. It's probably empty.
You just
I
checked it?
checked it right before this passed.
Oh, right before this pass. Okay.
Well, I tried to do another video, maybe that's my problem.
Maybe we need to put Luke back in the car. Let's put Luke.
Maybe that's the key.
I mean, you can race my car, I don't care.
What's the engine temp?
You can
Check
Oh,
this
yeah.
out. This one. I mean, it runs to the yards. It's making more than 291 horsepower, I can tell you that.
Oh, I can tell you that too. It's revving too quick. Look how fast it revs.
So
Yeah.
you can go back to devices,
Yeah.
Brandon, and go back to
I
where
don't
was.
get it. You know what, Judes? I hope you can help me with this, brother,
I'm sorry.
because I tell you what, I'm
So-
frustrated with this dyno.
And then conditions.
I don't trust it. I don't like it.
And then
I'm
click that
pissed
little,
off at it.
box for the atmospheric pressure. Yeah. And then hit apply down on the bottom corner there. And then okay.
Right by 932.
Yep.
That way it was going on too. It's close.
We got sunshine coming in the back door.
Temperature rate.
And we're not complaining because in Ohio, we hardly ever get this.
Not having the temperature.
Well, guys, I don't know what's going on with these numbers on the dyno, and it's frustrating. So we're going to put Luke behind the wheel. Maybe it's his dad. I don't know. And we'll see what's going on. If it doesn't improve, then we got some kind of a glitch. I don't know what it is.
like weights and a piece of rebar on the back of this thing to like.
This thing recalculates as soon as you fire up the program every time.
We went back to, we turned the sensor off.
What
And
sensor?
Now it's reading back to 32 and 1.18.
Oh, okay.
So that way we'll see if it goes back to what
The
it
weather
was.
station, you mean? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to turn the weather station off, and we're going to see if that makes a difference or not. And if it does and the numbers come back and they're consistent, then we can go ahead and keep tuning. If not, then we're just beating the hell out of this car for nothing. So, and I don't want to blow my brother's car up. Yeah. Oh, it's lasting. It's doing good.
It's lasting.
It's
There's enough shit laying around this shaft. I'll put it back together.
What happened?
No, just Paul trying to get the phone in front of the camera to focus for the
Oh.
last 30 seconds.
But did it work?
No, it didn't. That's what was funny about it.
It wouldn't be
Here's
this
your
pushing
shirt
like
list.
a weird scream American.
My what list?
That's your shirt list.
Oh, that's how many we got and what we got. Oh, thank you, dear.
And then there's kids ones.
All right, you gonna make another
So
run?
what questions we have while I'm waiting for anything good?
Just say, Brandon, I don't know where you left off at.
They're talking about oil pans. Ed Page and B&R Racing were talking about oil pans.
Okay, BNR said just okay.
Oh, Phil the third. He's here.
Hey, Philip showed up. Hey, Phil, we got your T-shirt. My daughter-in-law found it for you. Well, you know what, guys? I can tell you right now, there's no way in hell it's only making 289 horsepower. Yeah, it keeps going down, and that's what happened before on this thing. That's why I had Judes bring his dyno over, and we tested it with Brandon's car, and it was within 7 horsepower. But for whatever reason, my dyno, every pass loses horsepower. Every pass. And I don't know why. I can't figure it out.
What was 291 was the last one?
289, yeah, we got a squeal. I don't know what that is.
Is that the brakes?
A Dodge? Well, that ain't good.
Was you hitting the brakes when it was squealing?
He said, okay, I'll send the check then.
Hey, he don't know no check. That Phil gets he gets a T-shirt.
It's hot and the RPMs come down.
It's
Now that thing, you guys can tell by listening to a rev. This thing is not making 289 horsepower. I can tell you that right now.
Old school says sounds fantastic. That last pool sounds great.
Mm-hmm. I think that was the best pass we've had so far, but it sure didn't show on the dyno like it was.
All I know is the dynamite.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. You know what? This thing disappoints me, and I'm sure it's disappointing you guys tonight too. So it is what it is. It's part of life. That's how we roll a DCI. We have any questions that I need to answer before we check out here?
No, I think they're just talking amongst themselves.
Okay, good. You know what? I'm glad you guys are doing that too. That's awesome. What time is it anyway?
10 till.
10 till 8. Well, so
Oh, Walt's on.
Oh, now he shows up. 10 minutes? Oh, Walt's been fighting with his truck. He sent me, I was reading a text in there from him. He said he's with us in spirit.
Oh, he's on. He just gave a thumbs up, so it sounds really good.
yeah, our buddy Walt. You know what? He's like I said, he's been part of the DCI team for a long, long time. So I wish he was here tonight, but I get it. He's working on his truck tonight. He's got to make that run so he can go to work. Got to pay the bills.
Overrated.
It is overrated. So guys, the car is performing perfectly. It's not the car. It's this freaking whatever we got going on. I don't want to blame the dyno. I think I want to blame the software. I've researched it. A lot of people complain about the software, and you know, it is what it is. I don't know why it does what it does, but I'm hoping that we can get this thing figured out so we can get consistent numbers out of it. I can tell you right now, there's no way in hell that car's making 289 horsepower at the tire. I know for a fact, listening to that thing, I built too many engines. I know that it's making more power. That last pass sounded like it was the best pass so far, and realistically, it's probably making about 420 at the tire. But that's all speculation on my part. I can't, you know what? I don't have nothing to prove it, no data. Hopefully my brother can get this thing to the racetrack, and if it's truly making 420 at sea level, it's probably making somewhere around 380, 390 at the crank at our altitude, which at the crank, which is I'm sorry, at the tire. At the crank, it's going to be about 80 horsepower higher, I would say, roughly. So maybe 460, 470. But anyhow, at that point, with the weight of this vehicle, it should run somewhere in the mid-11s. It should go 1140 or 50. And so that'll confirm my suspicion where the horsepower is at.
We have questions. Any idea on what kind of CFM on the heads that are coming out soon?
I do. But anybody that knows me knows that I way underrate my stuff. To give you, for example, I rate my Ram Air 5 head at 380 CFM. And anybody that has purchased those and had them on a flow bench knows that they're not 380 CFM. So my new head's going to flow 320.
Yeah, they're more than 380, they're not less.
Huh?
You just specified as more than 380, not less than 380.
Yeah, so the guys that have flowed my Ram Air 5 heads, they flow more than 380 CFM. And my new heads are going to flow 320. So that'll give you guys a clue. And I can't wait to get them done. I need to give Deke Lemieux a call because we got Pontiac race coming up in, I think it's around 60 days now, ain't it?
July 21st, 22nd, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, I mean, it's just over 60 days, and I would really, really, really love to have at least some castings there. They may not be machined, but at least have some castings at that race. So I only got 60 days. I don't know if we can get all that done or not, but I hope we can. So that's where we're at with that. But you guys aren't going to be disappointed in that head, I can tell you that right now. It's going to be a kick-ass head. I think that we're going to be able to make somewhere around 600 plus horsepower at the crank with that cylinder head as cast. And if you guys want to port them, we can get 700 on pump gas. So we'll see where we're at with that here as soon as we get the castings. But
You only need 289.
exactly, to run 1140s. Well, 289 is a tire.
Oh.
Yeah. So you know what? That's like 360 at the crank.
Right.
That's good.
I have a few other questions.
Okay.
Phil the Third said, just buy a new one, you're loaded. Talk about the dyno.
The what?
Buy a new
Buy
one.
a new one, you're loaded. Talk about
Oh yeah, I'm loaded.
He really is.
Yeah.
Peter wants to drink a beer too. And then Tim asked, with the rod you put in the engine you built for me, what is a safe RPM to rev it to?
Well, it depends on where it's making power at. So you know what? That's a good question, Tim. I'm glad you brought that up. So anyway, an engine can rev with factory rods to 7,000 RPM. But if it's not making power, think about what's going on. So if I tell you to run around this building that I have right now with a straw in your mouth, okay, you're going to run out of breath probably halfway around because you can't breathe enough. But if I tell you to run around the building with your mouth wide open, you're going to be able to get around maybe 2 or 3 times. So what happens with an engine is if the cylinder head doesn't have enough port volume to support the RPM, then instead of pushing on the piston, it's going to be pulling on the piston at higher RPM. So it's going to create a negative pressure on the piston. That's what breaks connecting rods. So as long as the cylinder head can support, say, 6,000 RPM, you won't break a rod. You can run a cast rod and it ain't going to break. If it'll support 7,000 RPM, it won't break a cast rod. But if the engine will not, if you're breathing through a straw, it's going to break a connecting rod. And that's why Pontiacs have such a bad rap through the years, because the intake port is basically a small block Chevy on a 455. We'll call it a 454 Chevy. You can't run a little bitty port on that big cubic inch at 6,000 RPM. It don't work. So with Tim's engine, we raised the intake port quite a bit. I think it was like 237, 3750, I think, tall. And in stock's only 2 inches. So we raised it 3/8 of an inch. And we made the intake match it. So Tim's engine's probably capable, even with the small cam in it, I'd say it's capable of 6 to 6,200. You can see on my brother's car, it's got a factory iron head. It's got a Victor intake, which makes a big difference, and a Dominator, which another thing makes a big difference. And a what? And a big cam.
All gotta work together.
It all has, it's a combination. But if you don't have, even if you have the cam and the heads and, or the carburetor and the intake, if you don't have the heads, it ain't gonna rev. So, but my brother's port probably, I don't know, I don't like selling flow numbers because, you know what, flow benches, you can't race a flow bench. And we've seen cylinder heads come in the shop that only flow 280 CFM that make more power than a head that flows 350 CFM. And so I don't sell flow numbers, but the what I do sell is cross-sectional area. And if you have enough cross-sectional area, and in a Pontiac head, the biggest limiting factor is right by the pushrod bulge. If you got enough cross-sectional area there to support 6,500 RPM like you see my brother's engine rev to, then you're good. If you don't rev it that high. It's gonna pull on the piston instead of push, and it's gonna break the rod. So, but thank you, Tim, for asking that question. That's a good question.
So John Dornbush said sounds like 500 crankshaft to me. So, and then BNR said, what does the 62 Catalina weigh in at? Pick the track and use the old Moroso slide rule quarter calculator.
Well, this car here, supposedly, my customer weighed this thing, and I think he said it weighed 4,200 pounds. But I looked up the weight, and I think these things are only like 3,800 or 3,900 from the factory. Are you sure?
I have not.
No?
Yeah, so I honestly, I can't tell you. I don't know for sure. I know it's not as light as what everybody thinks it is. But it's an all-steel car. It has all the glass in it, has full interior in it. And yeah, bench seat, which is actually lighter than buckets. And but steel bumpers.
Bragging about the bench seat for the old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your shifter's in the way.
Yeah, both of them.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. We'll say 4,000 pounds. So you know what, B&R can figure out what.
Scales are open in Norwalk, I'll find out.
Yeah, we're gonna weigh it this summer and we'll figure it out.
So Scott Story says, what are your thoughts on using nitrous?
For what conditions?
General question, I think.
Honestly, I've never run nitrous. I can't honestly comment on that. I've had several customers run it, and you know, depending on the shot, it makes like anywhere from a second to 2 seconds difference. So.
And if he's asking the car runner, no.
Why not?
Well, nitrous is cool, you know, but.
How cool would it be to purge that thing coming in the lines the way it looks?
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
To run 1150s and drive it
Oh,
home.
thanks. And not have a bunch of pieces laying on the racetrack?
Beer assistance.
Hey, good, thank you.
Old School Twist said, it sounds like your new block is getting close.
Yeah, well, not as close as I want. Is Sam watching tonight?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Oh, Sammy. You know what? He comes and goes. That's the problem with that guy. You know what? As soon as I think that my brother's with me, he leaves me. But you know what? I'm happy tonight. We didn't blow this thing up. The engine's not smoking. It sounds freaking awesome. The thing.
Anyone local good with a gun? Because these birds are shitting all over my car and I hate it.
Yeah, we got a lot of birds. You know what? I got a fake owl sitting out there, but that son of a bitch, he's lazy. He lays on the ground.
This thing's laying on the ground.
I think the birds beat him up.
I don't know. Supposedly that fake owl's supposed to chase birds away. Well, if the bastard would get off his back, he might do that.
Philip III still hasn't gotten a beer. And
What?
Walt said that he has an old school Ice 100 we can toss on this weekend.
Oh boy.
Wall painting?
Yeah.
How is that noise?
You know what, Walt? We need to bring your Camaro over here, and we'll put that on the dyno, and you can load it on that.
I'm gonna make it a point to beat Walt's Camaro horsepower race.
Well, as soon as we get this freaking dyno figured out so we can figure out how much horsepower we're really making, I'm going to have to buy a weather station, guys. I'm going to try that next and see if we can get this straightened out. But if not, I don't know why the thing keeps losing horsepower every pass. It's really pissing me off, I can tell you that. I got a lot of money tied up in this thing.
In my car, the same thing.
Yeah, yep. Brandon's car did it. Those guys from Car Farm that was doing Richard Holdner's, is it Holdner?
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard Holdner's car. He's got a Dodge Omni with a turbo on it. Actually made pretty damn good power.
200.
It was more than that. No, it was like 390 at the tire.
That's not.
Yeah, it was stupid high. But it's turbocharged 4-cylinder. But anyhow, it kept losing horsepower on my dyno too. I don't know what's going on. I can't figure it out.
I do. It's shit equipment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's a software issue. I really do. I don't think it's the dyno.
That's part of the equipment. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Part of the equipment.
I actually really like the dyno because it's got a knurled roller so the tires don't spin on this thing. Well, we did have, yeah, we did have Brandon's car on there with a Ram Air 5 and it spun the tires.
Well, you're not
But-
supposed to run slicks on it.
What? No, it was DOT. It wasn't
Oh,
a
drag
slick.
radials?
Yeah.
Well, drag rails you can run on it, but yeah, you're not supposed to run slicks on it.
Yeah, no, we ran a DOT drag radial on it and it spun the tire. You could smell the rubber. So,
Yep, every hit.
yeah. We thought the converter went bad on that, but it was the tire spinning. So,
BNR Racing said Mustang dyno, all-wheel drive, even better.
you know what? Mustang is literally an hour from me. And I seriously considered buying a Mustang dyno, but I heard whenever I was going to buy it, and I bought this one, I heard they were having trouble with their software too. So, you know what? I don't know. You know, you don't find out until after you buy the damn thing, and then when you buy it, then it's too late. And I'm committed now. I got a lot of money in this thing. I got to figure it out.
Phil III, we do not have a dyno room. We have a dyno outside. For brake horsepower, he wants to know, but no, we don't have a dyno room.
Well, we have an engine dyno. We got a Stuska, and it's got dual brakes on it, so it's good for up to 2,000 horsepower. And if I can get a hold of Steve Morris, I'm going to talk to him because he's got a Stuska, and he's modified his to handle 6,000 horsepower. So I know that he redid the wheels, and he redid the shafts and the bearings, and I don't know what all, because at 6,000 horsepower, you're breaking a lot of shit.
Yeah, that ain't no joke.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We're making 290.
Yeah.
Right. Which is perfect. So, all right, guys. Well, you know what? I probably bored you long enough tonight. I'm sorry. Wish we had better results from the dyno. It's not the car. It's not my brother. We were picking on him, but Luke got in there and it was less than him. So.
Yep.
I am actually tickled because we just beat the crap out of that thing and it's performing flawless.
Yes, and you guys will see it at Pontiac Nationals this year. It will be there. So.
It will be.
Yep.
If I get my dry shaft done, I'll spit that out.
Yeah, right now he's got a factory dry shaft, and I was underneath the car the other day, and I'm looking around and says, "Brother, did you see this?" And he goes, "No." So,
I'm
yeah.
gonna have as much money in yokes as I am in a custom dry shaft.
Isn't that crazy? Well, you're getting billet though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
so-
insane.
I know. Yep. So he's got to buy a different yoke that goes in the rear end. He's got to buy a slip yoke that goes in the transmission, and he's buying billet because if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. He's getting a 3-inch custom dry shaft built with a heavy wall chromoly tube, seamless, and then the U-joints get a greaseless, so it doesn't have grease fitting in it, so it doesn't create a stress fracture.
$800, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, that's cheap.
And he mentioned I work for Summit Racing. I get a discount. It's still $800.
Right?
And no, I cannot get any of you any kind of discount. That's for me only.
Right? But we are going to work on something. I don't know if my brother can do this or not, but I'll talk to people at Summer Racing. I want to see if they'll give us some kind of a promo code. And once we get this freaking dyno figured out and we know that it's accurate, maybe what we'll do is a dyno session with a camshaft, and then if you guys want that cam and intake combo, maybe I can get Summit Racing to do a promo code and you guys can get a discount.
I'll refer you to Jim Greenleaf.
That'll be perfect. So, you know, he's not in that department, so.
No.
And not only that, he's family, and I don't want to create any kind of conflict. You know, he's getting close to retiring.
Yep. They need to hang on for about 13 more years.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're going to peace out. I appreciate everybody coming tonight. Hopefully we didn't bore you guys too much. And Philip III, I found your, well, I didn't find your t-shirt. My daughter-in-law found it for you. So that is going to be coming your way, sir. And I do believe that Jeff Downey's coming up here maybe next week. He contacted me yesterday or day before yesterday. So all the way from Texas. And so he's going to come up and see his Ram Air 5 heads that we're doing for him. And that'll be fun, him and his wife. So I got to get them a couple of t-shirts because he won the blower dyno number.
Yep.
So
All right, Jabber Jaws.
807? Yep.